hear any of that. But welcome. Hi. My name is Dan Finity, and
Hi.
welcome to episode 98 of the Destiny Digest podcast. We have with us tonight on the panel, we have Tidley, we have Epic Dan, and we have Sammy Cat. That feels like deja vu. How are you guys doing tonight?
Oh my gosh. I'm good.
That's good. Tidley and Sammy, how are you guys?
Late, apparently.
Well, I'm late. I'm definitely late now.
No, Dan put the time is like 6:00
Mhm.
Central, and so sorry, and just 6:00, and I'm terrible at time zones, and so I was definitely late. I'm getting messaged in Discord. I'm like sitting outside with the dogs and hanging out, and like, oh crap, I gotta go. I'll be there. I'm sorry.
It's all good. It all worked out for the best. It all worked out for the best. We did talk some shop. We talked some movies. It was a good time. Will that ever be released? No. Anyways, how's everybody's past couple of weeks been? We took Easter off, so that everybody could spend time with family and everything. How have the last couple of weeks been treating you guys?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I know I
Yeah.
talked about all the housework I had to get done, and I'm happy to say that I'm not in 99-degree weather anymore. So,
Perfect.
that's good because it's starting to get really hot here in the South. So glad to not be sweating while I'm sitting here.
It's getting swampy in the Midwest.
Oof.
I don't mean
lately.
to disregard your feelings about the weather, but right now it's in the low 50s and they turn my heat off.
Now you're
And
having the opposite.
I'm under a blanket with
Yeah.
a sweatshirt, and I want to go get another pair of socks. So I respect and appreciate you.
No,
But, I would give
it's literally
anything
the
for
same
90.
thing. Not the same thing, but like I was dealing with too much heat. You're dealing with too much cold. I definitely get that.
Just middle ground. Yeah. Let's do some middle ground.
Tidley, what about you? How's the past couple of weeks been for you?
Good. No, we hosted family a couple weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago. So definitely this past week has just been like catch up, cleaning the house, like recovery, and like getting everything situated.
Right.
But yeah, good. I'm neither hot nor cold.
You're just right.
lukewarm.
I'm
You're
Goldilocks
just
right
right.
now. We're
Yeah,
chilling.
exactly.
Yeah, we're chilling.
Yeah. My past couple weeks, it's been weird. Because I wasn't able to stream a lot this week, because of a super secret D&D project that I was on Thursday, and then today I had to do work. I had to go to work, so I wasn't able to stream all that much. But I have been playing a lot of video games this week. Sammy Cat, you and I talked a little bit about Blueprints earlier.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, how so you said you had thoughts, but you would save them for the stream. What are your thoughts on Blueprints?
So, I have to be very, very careful what I say. First of all, if you love puzzle games, even if you barely like puzzle games, I still highly recommend it. It can be really difficult to get through the first few hours, but once that first like larger puzzle just hits you, you can't put it down. My 73 hours in 2 weeks proves that. But that's also a lack of self-control. One thing I love about the game is that it is massive and it is so diverse. Your actual choices mean something. There are puzzles that even 73 hours in, I still don't know. I'm taking screenshot after screenshot after screenshot.
Oh yeah.
Just so I remember something.
I had a notebook that I was going to like use to help me fill out and like figure out the puzzles in there. But then I was like, my hand's getting cramped because I'm writing too much. I just need to screenshot everything. For those not in the know, Blueprints is a game where you place tiles on a board, and each tile is a different room in a house that you're constructing that resets every day. So it's roguelike in that way. It's also kind of like a deck builder because each tile that you lay down, like you're crossing that room off your list to be spawned in again later in the run.
When you cross it off, it doesn't. So once you use a card, you can no longer get that room.
Yeah, that room is planted in the mansion as it is.
Oh yeah,
and then you have like, I think you have like 50 steps in order to get like through all of the rooms, unless you like construct other rooms that give you more steps and stuff. It's just really fun, and the puzzles are challenging in there.
And there's puzzles. One thing I really like is I love games where you have to write things down. To the point where I have my own personal Discord server. I have an entire category that's just channel after channel where I put all my screenshots. There's just a lot. And see, I have a hard time because I don't remember at the beginning what versus what I know versus what's already unlocked. And one thing that's frustrated me is I have friends that play. One of my good friends has been playing it and is super far ahead of me. So I haven't been able to be in his streams in the last 2 weeks because he's been playing.
Because he's just so far.
And it's one of those things where even if you watch someone go through and play 15 minutes of it, you might catch something that might be part of the, aha. It is so specific, some of what you see, to where that could affect you 5 hours later. So you really have to pay attention. And it's not that things change. It's not that it's necessarily dynamic. It's that you might have missed it. So it's on you. And I know that earlier you had said, Dan, that it's like, okay, I want to go ahead and get some of the negative cards out of the way. You might not want to.
Oh, okay. You might want to wait until later in the run?
Yeah. So if you don't feel like you're getting far enough in it, hold off on some of them. So you really have to play your life, I guess, is the best way to put it. You might want to like take a hit now so that you don't have to worry about it later. But at the same time, you still have to get further. You still have to have a later. So you'll learn, and that's kind of where people will hop off because they're not getting very far because they do the same thing where they want to use all the
negatives,
the
early.
useless ones early. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Then all right. Well, that just ticks something off in my brain, and I'll be doing that. I'll be probably playing that a little bit later while I edit this. Epic Dan and Tiddly, what have you guys been playing lately?
Oh my goodness. I guess a bunch of stuff. I mean, we actually started Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
me and Dan. So we've had 2 sessions trying out the new subclasses. I haven't gotten leveled high enough yet to really see what I'm doing the sorcerer class. I haven't leveled high enough to see what the new stuff actually looks like. But I actually absolutely definitely keep getting my team into unwinnable battles, and and somehow we keep on surviving.
Hey,
I don't think we wiped once.
We haven't wiped once, but we came very close.
But the last time we played, I definitely gave up high ground and started a fight in the goblin camp, and then we all died and got thrown in jail, so we were 1 HP. And then I threw a bomb at the door, which started the Halson fight with the guards at 1 HP while we were in prison with none of our gear. So, and we won.
there was I want to say that fight took 40 minutes.
Yeah,
for us.
Investment. Dan's like, I gotta go, guys. This is my heart out. And he's like, I have to see what happens. He was like, stayed an extra 20 minutes.
I had to see what happened. There was no way we had gotten that far in without like,
oh my god,
without any gear basically.
Yeah.
For that fight, and it was just tremendous. It was great.
I just still can't believe, and I can't believe we won. And then Rev was
so tired.
he
He's so
he
tired
was
after all
he was
these.
he sanctuaried himself and then
Mhm.
left the room. So he was good, but for
Yeah.
some reason came back and died, and we still won. It was great. It was great. It was really fun. Anyway, I'm really enjoying that. I've been playing today I played Fortnite and Marvel Rivals, so I've been playing that a little bit with friends.
Mm.
But of course trying Marathon. I know that we're going to talk about that a
Yeah.
little bit, so I don't want to get into that too much. But I've been I've done a little bit of the alpha so far. So
Heck yeah. Epic Dan, what about you, bud?
I will hold my thoughts, but that's pretty much all I've played this week. Just the
Yeah.
marathon and just been running.
what level are you now, Dan?
49? 49, I think. 49 50, I can't remember what I stopped at last night.
I have
How-
some questions later when we talk about marathon, but if you could remind me, because I'll probably forget. I have a
You know what?
question about levels.
I think we're pretty good because I know that's been, other than I started Expedition 33 on
Oh,
I started that on Thursday.
how do you
or
like
Friday
it,
a little
Dan?
bit.
Because
It's
my
cool.
husband was talking about grabbing it. Sometimes we'll like have one of us play downstairs like a PlayStation game with a
Mhm.
controller on like the big TV, and the other person just kind of like helps. So it's kind of like an IRL one-on-one Twitch stream or whatever.
Right.
So we were thinking about doing that, but I also heard that it's really a tough game emotionally. I don't know. What do you think
So
so far?
I think the best thing that I can say about it right now, so I'm in Act 1 currently.
Uh-huh.
The prologue, what I really like about the prologue is that it doesn't hold your hand the entire way.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Like, you're kind of told things and you gain knowledge and information passively in the experience. And so I don't want to spoil the prologue because I feel like it's too good. Like, I feel
Okay.
like that's something that you should watch and experience,
Okay.
like
Alright.
what happens.
Fair.
I think the best thing that I can say about it is, like, there's an event. Yeah, there's no huge exposition dumps. It all just comes in like from the side. As you have conversations, you get little pieces here and there, and you get to connect the dots, and then like an event happens, and it kind of pulls all of those strings together, and you're like, oh, so that's why we're fighting. And then you'll go and you have there's one cut scene where you leave your hometown and you land on an island that is particularly tough. But the fighting is fun. I was comparing it to things like Legend of Dragoon, and somebody else in chat was like Super Mario RPG, which were both designed by the same person, both fighting systems. And there's definitely like it's turn-based, but you're able to dodge and you're able to parry. And if you parry, you're doing like a ton of damage to enemies. If you do that. I'm just kind of rolling along with it now. I'm still in Act 1, and the voice acting is incredible. I would say that it's probably one of the best voice acted games since Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, just I'm liking it a lot. I'm surprised by it because I don't really like talky games all that much. I like doey stuff. And this is a lot of talky, but the dewey's just so good that I don't mind all the talky.
How's the stream experience? Because that's generally for me the issue with certain games that I really like is if you have to sit there, if you have to sit there and watch or get exposition for 15-20 minutes, it's not the best viewing experience.
True.
I mean, this doesn't do that for that long. Like, if you receive a bit of story, it isn't like a 5-minute cutscene. It is, or it might be a 5-minute cutscene, but it's not going to be 20 minutes. and it's not going to kill your momentum that way.
Okay.
I will say some of the fights have been a little samey. I did beat like a major boss on Friday before I ended stream. But it was a good time. I liked doing that. As far as like how stream liked it, I don't know. Like sometimes when you're playing story focused games, like chat for me will die a little bit, and like it'll take some time for them to respond to certain actions that happen in the game. But it's a really good story game. I would suggest people give it a shot if they're looking for like
it's been recommended to me a lot from my community. So
it's only like 40 hours too, so it's not that big of a time investment if you're like
that's
if
not
you're
bad
hopping
at all.
in.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Well, then let's get into the marathon of it all. So this week we had the alpha drop on Wednesday for marathon. What's everybody's thoughts? How much time have you spent in there? What are your levels? I know Sammy just did the intro. I think is what you said.
Yeah. So I have questions. I'll go last.
Go for it.
Yeah, Dan has probably done the most. I've done like two stream sessions, so about like 8 hours in. The first one was just kind of getting acclimated, and then the second time I played, I was helping somebody else learn how to do it, and I really enjoyed myself. So definitely have a lot of thoughts about it. Of course, it's an alpha, right? Yeah. I guess my biggest critique is that the movement feels a little clunky, and I understand that a stamina system is something that's present in Tarkov and in extraction shooters. It's one of these pieces of the extraction shooter that you're supposed to level up and build into as you get better and better gear. It like helps, so I understand that's part of it, but for a game that's called Marathon, where the people are called runners, the running ain't that good. It's just like, I'm running, oh god, I'm overheating again. So that was my biggest critique, because I understand it's not supposed to be Destiny, right? Destiny, you're like, the jumping is crazy, the running is crazy, and then Arc, they tuned that all up like 8,000% or whatever. So it's like, I understand that's not what it's supposed to be like, but and then I also understand that at 8 hours in, I probably don't have the best gear to make that experience feel better. But I for a game that you have to pay for, I feel like the base experience should still make people want to play it. And like for me as a player, I felt like the stamina was a little overly punishing at base. Like I feel like that needs to be tuned a little bit. Other than that, I really liked the art style. I feel like it's unique and fun. Like I love the cartoony, like sci-fi aspect of that. I thought that it was the TTK, like being a little higher, at least at entry level, was really nice. And who knows, that's probably going to change a little bit once people are super geared and up and have a lot of hours in. But having like a little bit of a higher TTK was really nice as a casual player, because you could turn and shoot if somebody was shooting at you. And I feel like if you don't want to encounter teams, you can avoid them. But if you want to go and camp extractions, you can do that too. So there's like a space. I feel like it's an extraction shooter that's kind of geared towards like a general population. I'm so those are my kind of like my general opening thoughts. I have a lot more thoughts, but kind of curious what other people thought.
Dan, what about you?
It's a lot, actually, because I've written a lot. Like I was working on a video, I made one, but I was working on like a more in-game experience, and I've tried to gather as many perspectives for this game, because the biggest issue that this game is going to have is actually, at least I don't think, is the price point. It is an issue. But the issue that's going to come up is when you go into the actual game, what is the intended experience that the player is looking to have? I know I talked to Dan a little bit about this earlier, and like everyone goes into it with a specific goal and a specific in-game goal, but unfortunately, because of so many things probable that can happen in there, you might have a lot of people who feel that their time is not being respected, which is going to be interesting because I've done about 50-ish, 55 hours, and I've done a lot of PvE centric goals, which is like, let me go in and let me try to get a bunch of materials to upgrade my backpack, to upgrade my gear, to upgrade my character, to upgrade my stamina. And I will pick up contracts, and I'll pick up things that will target towards getting that stuff. However, obtaining it isn't the end goal. The end goal is to obtain it and leave with that stuff. Right. Because you don't actually get to, none of that matters if you die.
Right.
So if you, with the 25-minute timer, if you go in, and me and my two people are trying to focus on getting these materials so we can upgrade our backpacks, so we upgrade our weapons. We find them, and then a PvP centric team comes in and kills us.
It wipes you out.
It wipes you out, and all those materials that you just obtained are gone. So you have to start the process all over. That will cause an issue, at least I find, for certain players, because then you feel like, well, I just wasted 30 minutes, or 20 minutes or whatever. Then I also went in with players that our goal was just to go in and just pub stomp, or just, let's go for any team we can and just fight. Let's get some PvP experience in. And the other side of that is, because of, I know the game is meant to have no radar. It's technically supposed to meant to have some audio things where you can hear footsteps. I haven't really noticed it like it's supposed to. I don't know if it's just an alpha thing.
Oh,
but it's supposed to be there. But I haven't noticed it personally.
I've noticed it quite a bit when going in. I actually turned the music off in the game. So I could hear more of the ambient stuff happening. And I've noticed, I have noticed that quite a bit, but
I feel like it should be a bit more prominent then, because sometimes I feel like I heard it. I guess, well, no, I'll hear footsteps, but sometimes it will be my footsteps. I don't know if you've noticed that either. Because I do think that I shouldn't hear my footsteps. Because sometimes I'll be like, I heard footsteps, and then I'm like, oh, it's just my footsteps. It doesn't really help me for like game knowledge. But regardless, like I'll go in, well, I have gone in and focused on doing that. And then I've wasted 20 minutes because I couldn't find another player.
Right.
So like you'll hear some gunshots, and you'll, because of the stamina thing, because of the having to sprint, stop, or whatever, you hear gunshots, I don't know, 200 meters away. You get there. Obviously, you see remnants of a fight, remnants of players, because doors are open, caches are open, but you can't find them. So from a PvP standpoint, the map is pretty big, but the player's movement and the player's ability to get to a player is kind of lacking. At least from my experience, it's kind of lacking, unless you actively know where a player is. Because I know some people have already the knowledge of there's like 5 spawn points, and they know like there's if I'm spawning at this place, I know there's a pretty high chance that there's a player or team that spawned next to me right here.
Right.
Let me just beeline it there. Stuff like that knowledge helps. But it's going to be interesting because while I've personally enjoyed my time in it, I don't know if it was a $40 price point, would I personally pay that? As of right now, it's just an alpha, and I know the beta is going to be different. I also know that the alpha codes or whatever is a very, very, very small sample size, which is why like people complaining about player drop off doesn't make sense in a alpha. I'd rather wait and see how, when the beta comes out and anyone can play, what the numbers look like, what the experience looks like as well. Because if you're not a streamer or some kind of content creator, you probably either had to win the lottery with their Bungie Discord thing, or you had to win
Yeah.
one from a streamer or something, you know. So it's like I played so many streamers. I've died to so many streamers or
Yeah.
people that I know, and I'm like, almost every person I fought, I know the name,
Yeah.
or I know one of the people's names, or they know me. So it's like I kind of I'm basically just playing other streamers or other like content creators right now.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm really more curious to see how the beta is going to go when anyone can play.
Yeah.
I
think it's
ran
gonna-
into so somebody that I used to work with back when I worked at Destiny Tracker on their content creation team, way back when I started content creation.
Yeah.
His name was Pubin, and he would help people with their lighthouse runs for that channel. And
Yeah.
like, dude, so we were in a match, and I was with my friend Punky, and I was with my friend Frosty, and we were in a match, and we were going down this gorge in the perimeter,
Yeah.
and like just got slayed, just took out. And because another team saw us from above, and they just went straight for us. And by the time we figured it out, it was too late. And I saw the name on my screen, and I was like, "Oh, Pubin, that's my buddy right there. That's cool." But yeah, I know he doesn't stream anymore. I sent him a message on Instagram later that night. I was like, "It was a pleasure getting domed by you last night, or like this evening." And he was like, "Oh, I wish there was proximity chat. That way we could have just like hugged it out or something." Which I know that's
what proxy chat is always used for, Dan.
Yeah, definitely not for griefing. So yeah, I've enjoyed it so far. I've been taking it as like, this is an alpha experience. I'm not going to take anything that's on here too seriously until like much closer to release. Currently I'm liking Locust a lot.
Okay.
But there's some movement tech there, like, because there are like thrusters on that character that you can kind of push in with. The shield's nice, and I'm doing my best Titan impersonation by just punching everything. I tried to punch a guy to death the other day, and it worked. But I've been enjoying my time with it. I haven't spent nearly as many hours as you guys have. I've probably been like 8 hours max in my runs, and it's fine. It's enjoyable. It feels like it's going to be a game, if it in the state that it is right now. It is a game where I will pick it up and be like, I have 20 minutes to kill, or I have like an hour that I want to run this with people in my stream.
Yeah.
And do that for an hour, and then be like, all right, and then we're going to transition to something else off of it, which I don't know what that says about the game, but I don't know. Yeah, this is my first extraction shooter. Is this anybody else's first extraction shooter too?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
I've played others. I don't think this is similar outside of the whole backpack system and the you die, you lose
everything.
Loot. That part is the only thing I've noticed is very similar to other extraction shooters. It feels, at least to me, more like a hybrid version of like a more traditional battle royale with Gambit mechanics added on, you know, like Destiny Gambit. The ones I've been mentioning the most are like a little bit of Tarkov, obviously, but a lot of like the Division's survival. If you ever play Tom Clancy's The Division, it feels more closely to that, with the Tarkov system of how you manage and upgrade gear. And I don't know if that's what they're going for, because of it not being as hardcore as something like Tarkov. The problem, obviously, still is when people go into this game, which, like, if all four of us went into Marathon right now, and we all had a different goal, which goal would Bungie say that's the intended way we want our players as a majority to engage with it in? Is it we just drop in for an hour and just get a couple games in? Is it where our main goal for that 25 minutes is to focus on PvP with the occasional PvE?
Sure.
Or is it to be a PvE specific game where you're focusing on leveling up with the occasional knowing that you're going to have possibly a lot of PvP action. Like I've had a lot of games where it's a 25-minute timer, and I keep mentioning that because a lot of times within the first 15 minutes, if you don't fight if you haven't come across a PvP player or you haven't had PvP fights, you're not going to get any.
Right.
But that's only because everyone else is gone or they've already died. Because a lot of people are focusing on getting loot and extraction and extracting. Like I was running with Fran and Kyle last night, and there were multiple runs where we just focused on going in, getting a couple of materials, getting them, let's just leave instantly. And it'll be like 17 minutes left in the server. But you're like, do I go to other places, try to get some more materials? Or do I just like cut my losses, leave now?
Right.
Let me just leave now so I have this, toss that in the backpack, and then go back in and try again. And then there was also times where we would just stay in the entire time. And at about the 6-minute mark, they would kind of they would start getting antsy. Oh, I think there's someone around. And I'd be like, there's no one here. It's just the three of us. There's not a single soul here.
Yeah.
They either all died or they've also exfilled.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's intended either, because when you get down to the 0 seconds, all the extractions are gone. You get one final extraction, and it's like it's supposed to be like, this is it. You have to leave here. There's a 3-minute timer, and if you do not extract within that 3-minute window, you die instantly. So it kind of creates a system where technically there's supposed to be a higher threat level. So it's like it's I guess for me it feels like you're supposed to like in I have to use Fortnite. Like, you know, like in Fortnite, you get down to like the final circles and it gets very, very tense because you know any other players are there. That feeling is not in this game right now. And I think that's also what's missing, because a lot of those final fights could be really satisfying if, one, I know it's not in extractions, but if there was a way of knowing if there was other players still in the server with you, and to know if you were the only players there, or if anyone else was, or something. Because like, it's kind of annoying. One thing that's been annoying for me is I've gone many runs. It'll be 10 minutes left. And I'm like, I haven't heard a single gunshot.
Right.
Unless I see a robot shooting me. And it then becomes basically a server with me and 2 people just doing PvE only. And the only way we die is if we get overran by bots. And if they are trying to make a PvP specific game, then it's already a failure. And I hate calling it a failure because it's an alpha. But I really need them, hopefully, to realize that maybe it's just there's not enough players on the server. Maybe there's not enough purpose for you to stay in the server because of the threat of losing all of your progress is probably too much for players. And obviously, like Tarkov, which we have to mention because Marathon is like Tarkov. Tarkov is basically get good from what I've been told. It's like either get with it or get lost type of thing.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting because I really want to see the game succeed, and I've enjoyed my time with it. But there's just too many holes in the idea of the game right now, as far as like what the players are going to want to play. So it'll be interesting. I'm really excited for the beta. I think they say we're getting a beta next month, an open beta. But I don't know. Those are a few of my thoughts. I've played so much, and it's like, I don't think it deserves the hate that it's currently getting at all. And I've enjoyed my time. I've put in enough time to say I've enjoyed it, and I'm not shilling.
Yeah.
But I also see that there's a lot of issues that they've probably already solved it with the beta and whatever. But I really hope that for it to succeed at launch, because unless they delay it, it needs to put its best foot forward first. That I hope that they have a clear idea, and the community has a clear idea of what you're supposed to do or what your probable 1 or 2 or 3 choices are.
Right. I wonder if one of the fixes because like I've never made it to that final timer. I've always left before.
Really?
Yeah, I've always left before.
Have you
'cause I was
left on purpose?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like
Yeah,
I got
same.
the thing that I
Extracted or
needed.
died. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got like I'll either go for a faction bounty or I'll be going for like an upgrade within the factions, a specific upgrade
Mhm.
within the factions, and be looking for a specific thing. And I'll play until I get the things that I need, and then be like, okay, well, I just need to exfil to complete this
Yeah.
bounty, so I'll just exfil whenever I
Yeah.
want to. I wonder if one of the fixes down the line for this is to keep the extraction points until like a certain point in the match, like to not have
so,
them
like, you
readily
can't extract
available.
right away. You have to
Yeah.
skate
That is
until
one
it-
issue that you
Yeah.
can extract about 1 minute in, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not forced. There's no like
There's
Mhm.
there's no skin in the game on that
No.
front. Like there's no need for me to really
They could
stick
have a
in.
rolling timer, like like they have the person talking. 10
Mhm.
minutes left, 15 minutes left. They could have like an extraction point pop up at a certain location every 5 minutes.
Well, and especially if the announcer was like, "Hey, extraction at this point," because then that
Yeah.
would drive people's attention to that point if they're looking to go, and
Mhm.
I think that would give PvP centric players a thing to be like, okay, so I need to get over to that point if I want to mess with somebody's day, or like if I
See, I've done that a lot. So
Yeah.
there's these supply drops, right?
Mhm.
You can
the
trigger
su-
supply
yeah,
drops.
supply drops. Yeah.
I have
You
I've been
camp supply
triggering
drops.
No, I've been
Jan?
triggering supply drops to bait players to come in.
Mm-hmm.
And I've
Mhm.
gotten a lot of team wipes this week by triggering the supply drops. They see it in the air, they know it's going to be coming down, and I just wait.
Yeah.
And then they're like sitting in the box, doot, 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 and then
Yeah,
stab in
and
the
the
back.
supply, like we only did this little supply drop thing once, but it like the way the map feels like to me, it's like 3 or 4 areas of buildings, and
Yep.
then you
Mhm.
have like lanes connecting them, right?
Yeah.
But the lanes don't typically feel pretty dangerous because there doesn't tend to be a lot of cover in the lanes. You're just kind of like
Mhm.
trying to get from building to building. And I'm not sure where the supply drops are on all the maps, but the supply drop that we were at was like in one of those lanes. And it was
Yes.
like if you were going for that, there was no place to hide. Like
Yeah.
you were gonna get killed out in the open for sure, especially since there was like, you could look down on it from, like the different
Mhm.
craggy rocks or whatever, but like I don't know. I don't know.
Also, the
But I
Tetrising of like
yeah.
backpacks would make that worse.
Yeah.
You're playing Tetris, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to improve I guess I had the same experience Dan did. I either like did the contract and got
Mhm.
out like or got what I wanted, got out. Like I wasn't trying to stay to the very end and like grind the entire
Mhm.
time. So I didn't really experience that. But I did feel like the like I said before that you could avoid the PvP if you wanted to, like because you ran into more bots than teams. In
Yeah.
my experience.
Yeah.
Like and I'm not sure how that
Mhm.
felt after like 40 hours or whatever, like versus 8. But like it felt like if I wanted to avoid PvP, I could. I don't know that saturating the lobbies with like more teams would be great
Mhm.
though, because I think I don't know. I think that would make it like very PvP heavy, and it would make
Yeah.
somebody like me less likely to play because if it's
That's what I'm
engagement
curious, like
after
what they
engagement,
want. Yeah.
and like I also think I felt a little bit of like sort of like the Fortnite getting third partied thing happening
yeah.
too. It's like
Mhm.
you see teams engaging, and then the team that wins is the team that comes at the end and just kills the remaining team.
Cleans
Whoever's
up.
left,
Yeah.
who's low, who's looting, who's distracted, and that's a team that wins. If you throw more teams in there, like that's going to increase the amount of third partying occurring in it. So I don't know that that's solution, but I definitely agree with you, Dan, that was kind of like a situation where I felt like the space was kind of empty, and maybe it'll feel more full when they
That's why I'm waiting into the
there's
beta.
more.
Maybe it's gonna be different
This
now.
may just be an alpha situation, and it's just like content creators and streamers on it right
Yeah.
now.
I will say
Yeah.
that there's been some really hilarious things that I've seen in my time in just the 8 hours that I've played. I feel bad for this one, but I'm gonna own up to it here. I walked into a room and there was a locust that was looting stuff, and like it turned around and saw me and was like, no, like was just jittering around,
If
going,
only
no,
you
no,
had
no, no.
proximity chat for that.
And I was,
Oh no!
and I was,
Yeah.
and so I was like, I know you want me to walk out of the room and to leave you alive, but I cannot trust that you are going to leave me alive. So I just went
Can't do it.
and like took him. I took him out. I had to do it. And then like
Can't do it.
I had the mini freak out. I was like, is there anybody else in the room? Is there anybody else here? Like, and I think they were like mainly solo, and I feel bad for that. If that was you, I'm so sorry. But
if you're listening to the podcast,
if you're listening right now, like I'm apologizing. Please accept. But at the same time, like we had somebody who was like, Lore. I played with Lore Rants on Friday, and she was like, I'm gonna go up and check out this platform. And we're like, well, it's pretty quiet up there. It seems like maybe there might be somebody that's like looting right now. And she goes, no, okay, I'm just gonna go check it out. And she hopped up on the ledge and then immediately hopped down and was like, there's people up there. And like,
Yeah.
and then that led to our immediate demise because they like, she was like, I don't think they saw us, and then immediate gunfire.
Yeah.
So like, it was like, that's fun. I think the most fun I have is in those panic moments.
Yes.
When you just stumble upon a player. And because you do not know what the outcome is going to be. It could be the guy who's like, no, don't shoot me. I'm just trying to do this for PvE. Or you get shot by Pubin in a gorge somewhere.
Yeah,
you
don't know. I honestly think the PvP is super fun. Like I think my favorite moments are like where you can have a hero moment. Like I helped with a squad wipe with my team, and we got like we kind of like my teammate got downed. I saved my teammate. I got 2 kills. Like we cleaned up. Like I felt I was like, oh my god, I did so good. Like I think Destiny 1 PvP really felt like that. Like it felt like in gunfights you could have those hero moments, and that made the PvP feel truly special.
Right.
So I definitely think the PvP can be really fun. But I also think that at its base, I think it's interesting that Dan looked at it from, okay, how are people going in with different goals or perspectives going to experience this? Because I felt like, as somebody who is more PvP oriented person, that the contracts on like just going in and doing your contract and then exfilling felt like enough progress for me that I didn't like. I enjoyed that just basic gameplay loop. Like I'm like, that's actually a really good foundational gameplay loop. Is it going to make me be a full-time marathon streamer? Probably not, but like Dan was saying, I would probably pick it up and play it with friends for a couple hours and goof around on it, you know? I also know that something that it's been talked about is kind of like the idea of gear fear, that you go in, you bring really good stuff, you're afraid of losing it, because if you lose it, like you can't get it back, right? It's gone. I didn't really feel that. And maybe it's just because I'm newer and I haven't played as much of the alpha as some other people, but there's some systemic stuff that's built in to kind of reduce gear fear. Like when you level up your factions, you can buy kind of like a base package, right? Which will you can load in. You buy the package, $300. It'll load you in with guns and armor packs and health, right? So you basically have. So whenever we had a team wipe, I would just be like, okay, we're gonna just do like a base run, and I'm just gonna load in with that base loadout. I'm not gonna bring anything special. Whatever I bring in and bring it out of this run, it's gonna be bonus. Like whatever. This, you know. So I really didn't feel like that gear fear, because I think maybe because I I didn't find or level up excellent gear, so I felt like I could pick up an auto rifle off the ground
I've
and
lost
use
so much
that.
purples. But I always try to tell people, even though I've lost a lot of superior gear, I've also taken a lot of superior gear off people.
Yeah.
Sure,
So it balances it out. So like
it does balance out.
getting mad about it is just weird.
So Dan,
if you
like,
care about your vault, this is a bad game for you.
Oh, I don't know. I'm
My vault is at
having
max.
storage issues already,
Yeah,
and I've
no.
only played for 8 hours, Dan. I don't know if this is gonna work for me. So Dan, Mike, is how like what is the difference between like high level gear and like base gear? Like, is it
the only thing I've noticed is like how quickly or how like damage output. I don't know if there's actual damage output, but like I definitely can tell if I'm using like a green AR.
Yeah.
Especially on the robots, I can tell if I'm using a green AR versus a blue AR. It just feels more deadly. I don't know if I want to use deadly. It kills them quicker. I can tell that.
Okay.
Especially like the bad weapons.
Sure. Sure. 'Cause I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to say is if you diminish the difference in efficacy between the highest level to the base level, then it reduces the gear fear.
Yeah.
So and my understanding is that in Tarkov, after they before the resets, the game becomes almost unplayable if you're just hopping in, right?
Yes.
Because people are so geared out of their minds that you're gonna go in and get like one tapped every time if you're. So I guess that's my question is like there's a lot that we don't know. We don't know about like the resets. We don't know about like you know, how they're going to kind of like work with that. Is it just going to be that's the same thing's going to happen? Like if you don't play it, then after a certain amount of time, you're just not going to want to hop in because you can't just casually boot it up with friends on the weekend if you haven't got all of the best stuff in your vault in like, you know what I mean? So like, I guess there's a lot of questions that still have to be answered.
Now you can, if I'm not mistaken, I wouldn't be. I did it with some stuff. I don't know if the higher tier stuff will work. I do know if that were to happen and someone were to be coming back to the game, I can load in with superior gear and then drop it, and then they could technically pick it up and exfil.
So if you
so there is a way of helping it.
Right. Because the person that we were teaching, I gave her a backpack every time we went in.
Yes,
That's
I gave
like
that
a really
person
helpful,
a lot of stuff as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like a really, really helpful item. Like honestly, that was the item that I was most sad about losing always was a backpack.
Oh, yeah.
Backpack, yes.
I was like, oh my God, I didn't care about the guns. I was just like, I don't want to lose my backpack.
Well, I think that speaks something to like the weapons that we have at base with this weapon with this alpha.
The base aren't good. I will say that it's very. Once you get to a green, there's a good middle ground. Like, okay, I can at least deal with some stuff. I don't know if anyone else in the 8 hours or 1 hour that I've played has experienced this, but going in with a base weapon AR and fighting some of these robots is basically just asking to die. And I would argue that that's a bigger issue than PvP players. You go in with gear, you lose it, 2 PvP players, cool. Then you pick up a base weapon and go back in, and then all the robots decide that you're just fresh meat. And they all just bum rush you at the same time. And then this base weapon you have that does nothing, no attachments, no buffs, is not going to get the job done. Just because, okay, I now just wasted another run because I couldn't kill the bots in time. And then I could have killed them if I had my good loot, but I just lost it to PvP players.
Right.
So it's an interesting thing.
That's a tricky scenario, right? So I guess that's kind of like how I still have a lot of questions about who is this game for, right? Because Dan was talking about marketability and the price point and all these things, questions that have come up. Like, who is this game meant for? Is this game going to attract the hardcore Tarkov people? Is this game going to pull people who love Destiny 2 PvP or Destiny 2 PvE because they love Bungie games? They love how the shooting feels, the gun sound, all that stuff. You know, like, is this going to be for more casual people? Like, are they going to be able to hop in, or are they going to like feel like they can't compete or it's going to be too punishing for whatever reason, or is the price of entry is too high and not really worth it for the amount of time they're going to play. Like I think I don't know. I just playing it a little bit, I felt like it felt like Fortnite to me as like Fortnite to PUBG as
Yeah.
like Tarkov
PUBG,
to
yep.
Tarkov to Marathon. So that's kind of what it feels like they're trying to do to me. Like
Mhm.
it feels like kind of how Fortnite turned which was actually a PvE game
PvE, I missed
at
that one.
conception,
Yeah.
right? It was
I
a
missed
PvE
that.
game and they stumbled
Same.
upon a really popular kind of like accident that turned into this whole huge thing, right? But I feel like that PUBG was like the preeminent
That was
battle
it.
royale
Yep.
at the time, and they Fortnite was fun and it was cartoony and it was less, you
It
know,
was a
hard
pop
to
song.
get
It
into,
was
and
less
it was more
serious
approachable.
too.
You could
Yeah.
less serious. You could play it with your friends. Like PUBG, like you had to have the frying pan on your butt or else someone would kill you. Oh my god, you know. Dad's laughing because he remembered.
I missed that. Yeah.
You missed the frying pan. I do not miss the frying pan. But I definitely think that's kind of the direction they're trying to head. I think they're trying to Fortnite Tarkov, you know, or Bungie
Yeah.
Bungie Tarkov. And
Bungie 5.
so in that sense, I just mean they're trying to make it more approachable, a little more casual, you know, it's like something that the masses will enjoy and pick up and play.
Scissors says something in chat that I've heard other people echo, like Skill Up is like, my gut feeling is that this game is meant for the console market, which
I've talked
would
about
make
that
a
as
lot
well.
of sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which if you think about it, that aligns with what I'm trying to say too, because consoles exist because PCs are expensive, right? So
And
consoles,
getting more expensive
there's a reason there's more
lately.
console
Yeah.
players than there are PC players, is because the price point of entry is lower than buying a whole PC. So they're looking for it's like a mass market. They're looking
And it's
for
one
mass
and done. You don't
market.
have to keep upgrading.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for like in a few years when they come out with like a PS6 or,
Or like the
whatever,
Pro
gonna
or
be
the Slim
ungettable.
one or something. Yeah.
Like there's always something to upgrade to. But yeah, like this going back to what you were saying about like the Fortnite and the Fortniteification of it all. It's a pop song. It's a very popular pop song. It like you feel at home in it, you're able to play it, and you feel good when you come out the other side winning, right? And it is mass market. Marathon, I could see that. I think that there's I could see it working in a climate, in a in a political and economic climate where people were more comfortable.
Sure, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And I like that. I'm a little bit worried about. Also, like just I haven't paid a lot of attention to the conversation around Marathon outside of like the conversations that I've had with people, because like I can't deal with children, dude. Like people are acting like this
It's
is
not good. I will say.
Yeah.
It's been a rough
people are
week.
acting like this is a fully released game.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like guys, like I see the PNG of my player against the PNG of the map that we're going to fight on, and know that that's not going to be the finished thing at the end of the day. There's going to be some animations that are in there. It's going to be a little bit more gussied up, but my guy, like
it's been so many people that are
finished.
like people with big audiences, which I'm not going to call them out, but it's been very unfortunate how many people with decent to large audiences have treated the game like it's already launched.
It's finished. This is the last.
You know, it's like use some common sense that like the game obviously is going to be more polished and more finished, and knowing that what you're going to talk about the game should be talked about in a constructive feedback and criticism of like, I hope they do this and can you do this for the future game, and not saying, man, this game launched in a terrible state, how dare you know. It's like all right, come on.
It's like the idea that saying game bad is unhelpful, but also saying game good is unhelpful, right?
Yeah.
It's like you know, you like it's useful. I think it's useful for them to know people's kind of like visceral reaction, but I think that it's more helpful if there's constructive criticism, like in saying like here's the specific piece of it that felt unwieldy to me that I like, that I would like you to retune, or here's like the specific aspect that I actually loved, that I feel like you could lean into that and really make that even better. I feel like you need to have, I feel like for it to be helpful, it has to kind of attain
This was also a closed
specifics.
alpha. Like, remember
Yeah.
that. It was supposed to not be streamed and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We all signed the NDA.
We all signed the NDA saying we wouldn't talk about
And
it.
they're like,
And then they got peer
everyone-
pressured into just releasing it like a open beta.
You know what?
But, yeah.
I'm kind of glad because
And this is probably why they wanted to keep this as a closed alpha at first.
Yeah.
Like I could see that. But the conversation around it, even from the preview, like that conversation going, I kind of think forced their hand to be like, okay, well, we're going to show you. We're actually going to show you. And then them
I
showing.
saw so many people saying like, let me stream it, let me stream it, let me stream it, let me cover it.
Sure. I think people are just really excited. Like,
yeah.
I mean, they've been teasing it. It's a new AAA title. Like Bungie games are incredibly popular. I know that the Destiny community has really strong opinions about it because everyone's like, oh, this is taking away Destiny 3 from us. How dare you focus your energy on something else other than Destiny? Blah 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 blah. Like people are really kind of like, I don't know, mad. But there's also like a Destiny player perspective that's like, oh, this game is not made for me. How dare you make something that's not specifically made for me? Because you're only supposed to target me as your audience, as a huge gaming studio.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like my perspective is kind of like in the middle. Like I don't know. I like Bungie as a studio too, but I also played Halo Reach, which is a very different game. Halo is a very different game from Destiny, and both are fantastic. So like that's kind of like what I'm hoping for Marathon. I'm hoping that it's just another fantastic Bungie title. Like that's literally the best outcome. Like I don't want them to make Destiny, as it pains me to say it, like forever. I understand that like they're gonna have to like let go of that franchise eventually. I think that Bungie as a franchise, like Bungie as a studio, does best when they're throwing shit against the wall and seeing if it sticks. Like all the best things that they've done have come from like a hyper creative, let's do something completely different, and if it works, great, and if it doesn't, then we do something else that's really creative. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Italy rant.
I'm eager to see
it's a good rant,
where they go from here. I'm just hopeful that people give it the time when it releases.
I think
based on everything that they've seen.
That's gonna be tough too because of its launch date.
Yeah.
Oh, it's competing with other titles, right? Other
Borderlands
it comes out
4.
the exact same day as Borderlands 4, which I know is not a lot of crossover.
Sure. There was initially for Destiny and Borderlands.
But it's going to be tough because, like, I know personally I'm going to play Marathon, but I won't play it at launch. Simply because of Borderlands 4.
And you were Borderlands before Destiny, right, Dan?
I was originally a Borderlands streamer, That's what I started with. So, like, I already have that connection. So, like, now that I've played Marathon, I will be perfectly fine unless like some drastic thing changes in the beta that changes my mind, or if I know they said, like someone said there was supposed to be like a raid or something in Marathon that you could like secret mission for. If something like that drops at launch, I would be willing to like but like if it's as is, I'm cool waiting a week to play Marathon and getting on my Borderlands 4 in.
That's what kind of my team was like like talking about hypothetically, is like that is content that we don't know about that could make this a long-term interesting game if they have like dungeons or like PvE
or
content
something
or something like that. Like as it is as the alpha, I could see myself picking up and playing it like casually.
Just off and on. I would like start my stream. We're gonna spend 1 hour, just do a couple runs. Okay, cool. I'm warmed up. Let's go into my other game.
Yeah. I don't see this as like, I don't know, a Destiny killer. I don't know that anyone has had that conversation, but the only Destiny killer is Destiny.
We're having it here first, damn it. Marathon's the Destiny killer.
Finally, Destiny's going to die.
Mod Sherpa says Marathon needs to be a catalyst for D3, the engine, the upgrades, the dedicated servers, proper anti-cheat, etc. Oh, like there's no doubt in my mind that they're working on these projects in tandem, and one is going to inform the other. Heavily.
Here's my question to the panel here, because I've seen some discussion around it one way or the other.
Mm.
I have my own thoughts about it, but since generally, historically, Bungie has always been a one IP studio,
mm-hmm.
and now that they're finally branching off and trying to be a multi-IP studio, do you think, and this goes to the chat as well and to the podcast listeners, there isn't a right or wrong answer, but it is something that's worth thinking about. Is the outcome of Marathon, do you personally think the outcome of Marathon will affect Destiny?
No, I think people are doing I think people are conflating the two as like equals. I see them as for two very different audiences, and like the people who are really going to invest a lot of time in Marathon, they might like Destiny a lot, but I don't see it. I do not see how they change hands and how they compete with one another in a way.
I don't think not compete. I don't want to say the word compete. I just mean in the sense of, obviously they took a chunk, a third of their development team to make this game. They even talked about it. They've been working on it since 2018. And they took, I don't want to say took, but they focused a fair amount of resources for this game. And if you boot up Marathon, it has Sony's logo in front of it now. It isn't just Bungie. So you have that Sony backing. So it's interesting now that like they have a umbrella company now inside of their goodies, how that's going to affect the day-to-day workings of their company. Because it's been a long time. Last I can remember was like early D2, early D1, or whatever. I don't know, whenever. I can't remember the last time I booted up a Destiny title and it didn't have just Bungie's logo there. So it was very like, I was drawn aback for a second when I saw like, I booted Marathon and I didn't see Bungie. I saw Sony Interactive. I saw Sony. Then I saw Bungie. So it's interesting in the sense of like, because I've talked to my community a lot and some people feel one way or the other. And basically, if say Marathon was a runaway success that no one saw coming, obviously from a marketing standpoint and from any standpoint, you would want to invest more in it. If the opposite happens, which this is far out, is it even likely for them to say, okay, well, let's focus on Destiny and only Destiny? I personally don't think that they affect each other. I think everyone here kind of agree. I don't think they really have too much. I think Bungie can handle multiple IPs at one time. It's just an interesting discussion that I've seen that like it's an alpha, obviously, but some people say, well, they should have just worked on Destiny, which doesn't make sense because from a creative standpoint, you can't do the same creative thing forever. You know, I remember speaking of Halo Reach, when Halo Reach ended and they made Destiny, the entire Halo community at the time revolted against Destiny. They were like, give me more Halo. So it's just funny seeing the same thing happen again. They're like, how dare you?
They sold the Halo IP.
They sold it because they didn't want to make anymore.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. This is a different scenario because they haven't sold the Destiny IP.
That's true. Yeah.
So it almost feels a little like they're hedging their bets, almost saying like, if Marathon is a flop, we
still have this to fall back
on that we're still planning on continuing to make. That is like basically the cash cow that's funding the studio. It like to me, there's, I mean, obviously there's something to lose here, but like having Destiny as a backup plan is not a
It's not
bad
bad.
place to be in, you know? Like it's not a
Yeah.
bad place to be in as a studio, I think.
They go back and
Um,
finally do D3 or something, or do
Yeah,
a big.
Mhm.
We
I
said
don't
we do
know.
more D3, but here you go. I don't think they need a D3, but
Well, here's the thing, like D2, it really didn't feel like a sequel. It felt like a
A
1.5.
continuation.
yes.
Like
Yeah.
it felt like a continuation. They didn't change anything. And this is not a critique. This is a love letter. This is basically saying they took everything that we loved about Destiny 1 and they made it smoother. They made it better. They made it more user
Eventually,
friendly.
that
Mhm.
You
that
know,
launch
like
though.
sure, I get it. But like, you know, like I definitely think that I don't know. I don't know what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
They
you were
made nice
saying
little
that it was a
changes, yeah.
love letter. You were you
Yeah,
were
they're
you were
basically
saying.
they weren't trying to change too much.
Mm,
You know, like it didn't feel like an absolutely brand new game. It felt like a continuation. This is what I was going to say. The biggest update or improvement was crossplay and
mhm.
adding
Oh
PC.
yeah,
Mhm.
PC was an absolute
huge.
like beyond improvement for like quality of life in playing Destiny. But I don't know from here. I can't see I can't see a Destiny 3 where they do the same thing. I can only
Right.
see a Destiny 3 where like they do something different, you know? And like
Mhm.
and I feel like the final shape was a great end to the story. Like I would love to see like a Destiny prequel or like some completely new piece,
Mhm.
you know, of the same universe that we love, or some completely new way to play. You know, I don't know.
Watch the Edge of Fate reveal. Just be another
Mhm.
time that we're like, they listen to the podcast, obviously. They just listen to us.
Of
We're all
course,
talking
you
about
Totally.
this. They were like,
Dan.
Yep.
well,
We're like
we
we're
should have just
spitting.
waited.
Yeah. Yeah.
They proved it again.
Oh, I
But
don't
yeah,
know.
I'm.
Yeah, Marathon. I think it has a lot of potential. I don't. I'm curious to hear what Sammy has to
Oh
say
yeah.
about it too.
I know Sammy had questions, so make sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Please, Sammy
Thank you
didn't
for
forget them.
reminding me. Um, so my first question, this will be probably a quick one. I have barely, well, just so people know, I've only done really the tutorial, and then looked around the menus, and there's a lot. There's a lot there. I
Mhm.
was a little overwhelmed by
Okay.
everything I saw. But my
Sure.
Yeah.
question is, since I've barely played, but the people I would go in with have played a lot, and I know
Mhm.
that they say they match make based on level, is that going to be a problem?
It would
Am I
match
just going
make
to get
off
like,
of you, but again, it wouldn't be that big of a problem. No.
And also, like Dan said before, the people you're with can drop you really good gear.
Mhm.
So
If they
even
wanted to, they could give you a bunch, yeah.
if you're going in new, they could still give you like upgraded
Mhm.
equipment. They could bring stuff in for you and drop it. So
The
you
good
wouldn't
thing.
be as yeah.
The good thing about it is that like everybody kind of is on the same playing field. Like, unless they've upgraded a lot.
The only thing
And like,
I was gonna say, the only thing you need to do is the
yeah.
faction stuff. Like Sammy
Yeah.
would have to do the beginner faction stuff
Mhm.
because you'd be missing out on a lot of stuff. Because I
Yeah.
had an issue with
But it's
that
stuff that you end
the
up
night
buying
before.
later, right? Like it's stuff that you can buy from the
Well, you can't
black
buy
market
any of that
later.
stuff until you've done the faction tutorial.
Right. Right.
So
But
I think
even
I
if
when you're
like I had
started
all that
that,
upgrading,
stuff,
but
mhm.
there was,
it takes about 20 minutes depending on
Mhm.
how quickly you exfil. Because it's still like, here, this is what happens when you do this. This is this. Hey, go do
Mhm.
this. Go kill some bots. Hey, this is what an exfil is. And then you can start unlocking the factions. But as long as you do
Mhm.
that, depending on who you
I've
play with,
unlocked
they
one
could
of
catch you up
them.
pretty quickly. You unlocked
One
Cyber
thing,
Acme. Okay.
Mhm.
one thing I'm really struggling with, having just done that, the tutorial, gone through the menus, things like that,
Mhm.
is I'm a mouse and keyboard player
Mhm.
for Destiny, but any other game, any other shooter, I do controller. It's
Mhm.
just what I'm used to.
Ooh. Okay.
But for mouse and keyboard for this game, feels a little bit like Destiny, which is good. It feels like how when I used to play Call of Duty, on controller. That's how mouse and keyboard feels on this for me. But the keybinds just aren't going to work for me. And when I was talking about how I kind of want the keybinds to go, someone was like, yeah, those actions would overlap. Like they wouldn't work. And that's one thing that really frustrates me because I play a lot on my mouse. I couldn't tell you in Destiny what key is class ability, and all I use is my class ability. So I can't rely on my mouse as much with all the buttons, as much as I need to rely on the keyboard, which I'm just not as comfortable with. Another thing is when I look into a pack or search it or whatever it's called, I want to be able to hit, E to open is just fine, E to interact. I want to hit E to be able to come out of it too.
Not escape,
Not escape.
Yeah.
So it feels very weird to me, and I realize that's something that I need to just deal with. I'll get used to it over time. I'll figure those things out. But I wish that there were a PvE section, even a training section that I could go into and just play around, get used to what I'm doing. That's just how I am as a player, especially when it comes to multiplayer.
I mean,
Because it's going to take me a while to get used to the keybinds. It's going to take me a while to actually set the keybinds.
Do you feel like having more keybind options would be helpful for you? Like, are there specific ones that you're missing? Like, for instance, you can, for healing or shields, it's the same hotkey, and then you have to kind of swap in between the two. It would be so nice if you could actually just hotkey one to armor and one to health, and then you could just press one button for that instead of swapping.
So there is one. I don't know if you ever noticed. I don't think it even tells you, but there is a keybind, at least for me, that I have set up that if you look in the bottom left corner where it shows the packet, just pressing, at least I can only speak in mouse and keyboard. So for me, that number is you press 4. Okay. You press 4 and you hold it, it pulls up the little radio dial.
Sure, if it's at the
Yeah. If you just tap 4, it instantly does a heal. So as long as you have anything there. And then the other issue is I also have heal on my mouse. So I have it set up to where my shields is on my mouse and pressing 4 is for my health.
So for me, it's just, you can set it up. It just sounds like you kind of like bypassed that little system that they have.
You can bypass
the radio.
Yeah,
I do agree with Sammy that there should be another more straightforward thing. Also,
I think there should be a
good.
more straightforward thing because like it is a little clunky to go between the two when you're trying.
You also can't clear keybinds, which doesn't help.
Yeah, that's so true. Also the other thing that helped me with the stamina was changing it off of toggle and changing it to press. Like that helped, like, instead, because I was just toggling and using it infinitely. It's just
I changed all that to like I tried to make my keybinds as similar to Destiny.
Yeah,
that's what I
wouldn't
be
as easy.
Yeah, same Sammy.
Now I will say, Sammy, that from what I've played, I would disregard most of the keybinds because a lot of the keybinds and a lot of the actions end up not being needed for most of your moment-to-moment gameplay. So even though there's a lot of keybinds, your best bet would be, unfortunately, if the beta and the base and the launch game have like an open area, that'd be best. But it would be best to change only the more basic actions you know you're going to do and get into the flow of just playing the game. And then you'll figure out, I don't ever do this action. I don't need this. I don't ever need to do this action. Because for me, I only really use about 7 actions of like the 20. And there's a lot of actions, but most of them you don't need from most of your running. At least I haven't noticed much of a need. I don't know if anyone else
one thing that
way.
always frustrated me with other shooters is that it takes me a while, especially with PvP, to learn, to get used to the movement, to know what I like, what I don't like. And I've noticed this is one reason that I didn't play PvP a whole lot in Destiny at first. And it took me a while with other games, is that I would go in and I would just die while trying to
You don't
learn.
have a chance, yeah.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
and that's how
at
it
all,
was,
yeah.
especially with Destiny, is people are like, use a sniper if you want to get better. I'm like, I use a sniper and I'm dead. I have to actually learn and practice. And that's one thing that I was talking about with someone else where they're like, yeah, I don't have the chance to learn. And maybe if there was proximity chat, something like that, it would help being like, at least for the alpha, to be like, hey guys, I'm learning. Can you just leave me alone for a little bit?
Like that player Dan ran into was like,
No,
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 don't
Mhm.
kill me. And Dan was
Please.
like,
no.
die, bitch.
I'm surprised they don't have
Say
emotes
that.
either. Emotes would
I
help.
called him a
Just have an
bastard,
emote that says
okay?
like don't touch me. I'm new. I'm new. A quick emote.
It
Yeah.
should be like a Wile E. Coyote thing where it just flashes a sign.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
They're gonna try silver for it, but you know.
Learning.
Yeah.
Another thing that so one joke is that people are like, oh, we didn't start in Destiny. We didn't start in activity because Sammy was in our menu. And I'm like, I'm always in my menu. Just
Oh,
start
I
the
know,
activity.
yeah. That's
I
an
menu
annoying one.
play more than anything. But on
That's
this,
gotta change.
I
Yeah.
can do whatever. I'm in my menu.
I've complained so much about that. I know exactly what you mean.
So I do a lot of menu play. I do a lot of menu play in the middle of encounters. It's just what I do. But there is just too much menu play in this for me. It's very, very busy. The when you open it up and then you hover over things, that screen that describes it is just really, really busy. There is just a lot going on screen. And being that we're in a menu, it's worse than HUD is for me in Destiny 2. It's worse than going into a menu and it being just cluttered because I have to see these tiny little icons and then they have really big box of description, whatever it is. And then I have to hover through that and it's covering up other things I want to see.
Yep.
It is a lot going on in the menus. And being that I have to spend a lot of time in the menus, like that's the whole thing with looting, extractions, changing around everything. There's too much going on. And I feel like that, yeah, I can get used to it, but I don't ever feel like I would get comfortable with it. So I can deal with it. And granted, I haven't played a whole lot, but just knowing how I am with other games and the menus and just knowing how much the HUD in Destiny or the menus in Destiny can overwhelm me, this is like a whole new level.
Yeah.
And I played Destiny for over a decade.
Information overload for a new player.
I agree though. I mean, I agree, Sammy. Like I feel like Destiny does a good job of when you're playing the game, like you're not in menus. Like that's like I
Yep.
feel like they like you can especially for stuff like where you have locked loadouts or whatever. You don't even look at your menus at that point. But like I think for the most part, you're in menus when you're in orbit, when you're in the tower, in your social space. Like when you're playing the game, you're not in menus very much. And when you are, it's like a completely separate screen versus having some part of the UI pop up of a menu that's an overlay over like the combat, which maybe is intentional because they don't want to pull you out of the combat to do things that you need to do. But I know you also play no HUD, Sammy. So like and there's a reason for that, right? Like in terms of like the amount of stimulus that you find comfortable.
Yeah.
Right? Like you find it more relaxing to play without a HUD, you know? So I mean, I definitely think
And
that's a
that's my
difference
own
between the two
issue.
games. Yeah.
But
No, but I think it's a fair point. I think that like having that little piece of like UI pop up in the middle of your screen is definitely distracting. And I understand why they're doing it because they don't want to take you out of the gameplay to do something that's super important like heal or shield.
It's not
or
as much
but
like that, but I mean actually when you are going in and searching through a pack and it's like, this is what you have equipped. This is what's there in your backpack. This is what's in the bag.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. That's a lot.
That
that's actually what
that
gets
is
me
what
killed the most, Sammy, because like usually these backpacks are in the middle of like a whole open
Yeah.
area, and you're in the menus, and then you're like, I'm dead. I was in my menus and now I'm dead. Like
Yeah.
it's just
And
like,
that's the
okay.
thing. I don't
Yeah.
have a chance to like. I'm afraid I won't have a chance to learn that as much. So it's not
Sure.
as much the
Yeah.
HUD on screen
Mhm.
Yeah.
while I'm playing, but it's actually going and searching
Yeah,
Mm.
the loot. It's
the
more looting
loot.
bodies, right? Because like
Yeah.
a lot of the other loot is in buildings where there's cover. It's not as scary, but
Mhm.
I definitely, and I also think, Sammy, that it is partly like knowing what to grab, and I don't know that
Mhm.
either.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
think probably Dan knows that better. You can look at something and instantly be like, oh, this is worth taking. This is worth taking.
Mhm.
Like sometimes I'm
Mhm.
like, we're like 2 minutes to extract, and I'm like, I'm just gonna grab anything that's filling my whole
Yeah.
inventory. It's
Be a
matter
little
of
gremlin.
pride, you know?
Yep.
But
Yeah.
I think that like knowing what is good to grab, but like
You have to
I
get to that
open up
point
a
though. That's the
Yeah.
I
problem.
open up a backpack and I'm like dinking around in there. I'm like, well, this looks kind of good. Should I grab this? And then I'm dead.
Yeah.
You also have that
I'll-
mechanic that like there's a mechanic where your loot speed is
Mhm.
increased the better you like the more you play, you upgrade it, you can loot faster, which is when you open
Oh,
up a
how does that
box.
mean? Oh, those
When you
things
open up a box,
appear.
each thing pops up very
I did
slow.
not. I thought that was just like a lag thing. That's an
No, so
intentional
there's
thing.
that's intentional
Oh,
because
that's so dirty.
there's implants you can put in and there's
Yeah.
upgrades you get that
Yeah.
increases your loot speed. So like now, if I go in kitted, I can open up a big 16x backpack in about 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Everything pops up real
that
quick.
is disgusting. I hate
It's
that
not
so
good for a new
much.
player because they might be waiting, like just like Sammy said, in the
They're
wild,
like,
just open it up and just pop.
yeah,
Pop.
yeah,
Pop.
yeah.
Oh, look, they're getting boom. They're dead. Well, look at your loot. Oh, everything's here. Okay,
Well,
I'll grab this, and I'm out.
I will say this too though. Like it also depends on how your team is moving. What I've been doing, what I was learning from like Punky and from Frosty, because Frosty has a lot of time in Tarkov, was like you want to hit a place, you want to grab everything, and you want to get out as quickly as possible.
Yep.
You don't want to linger there too long. If you hear gunshots in the distance and you don't want to fight, you're probably hearing gunshots between either a team and another team or a team and bots.
Yep.
And if you don't want to fight, you don't have to go over there. You
Sure,
can just
exactly. Just
That's your cue to
avoid
go
it.
the other way.
Yeah,
Also,
go the
like,
other way.
don't shoot. I've noticed a lot of people will just shoot bots and dump too much ammo. And I always try to tell them, like, you're literally just giving away
your location.
where we are.
You're
Like,
like,
you try, I tell people, if you only shoot a bot if it shoots you first,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then only shoot the amount of bullets required to kill it, then stop. Because the bots, which I don't think we've talked a lot about, these bots are GM level.
tough.
They're absolutely
They're great.
insane.
Yeah,
especially the higher tier
they
ones.
are tough.
Oh,
Yeah.
I had
And they are
I had the
coded to
red
be
bubble
very
spawn on me
smart.
one day.
Did you?
I had the red bubble spawn right on top of me, and it wiped out my entire shield and like bounced me. I was like, "What the hell just happened?"
No,
It's rough.
Those are crazy. You have to have some special mod to be able to even like not take damage or something like that when you
Right.
go in there. Like we got near one and we're like, oh, this will be fun. Let's do the high value target. No.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very bad.
Oh
Stay
no.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very bad. It's very hard.
Why don't we
Another
have?
thing. Oh, sorry.
Why don't we have this be the last question for Marathon, and then we'll move on to
Yeah,
Destiny
sure.
stuff after that.
This wasn't a question. It was more of a comment about the game type and stuff. One thing that's weird to me is that, well, okay. One thing that bothered me is how Bungie was very much over and over like, this is not a hero shooter. This is not a hero shooter whatsoever. And then it comes in and we have 4 characters. It's a character shooter. All right, they're basically heroes. We just have a customizable loadout. So don't tell me it's a class based. It's a character based.
It is character. It is a hero shooter.
Advertise it correctly.
Sammy, I absolutely feel like it feels like Apex in that regard.
Yeah.
Like it feels like Apex heroes. And like there's I think that's I guess I feel like it's a valid critique. I feel like it's going to be more interesting when we have more heroes and more abilities, and I know that they're going to build on that. This is just the alpha. There's going to be more.
Yeah, there's 2 more.
Yeah,
at
2
least
more
the
coming in
canvas
the
Two
one.
beta.
more.
So
Okay, 2 more coming in the beta. I think that'll definitely help, but it's definitely not Destiny where you have like a you in there. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, you're cosplaying like a cool character, right? It's not. Yes, definitely
kind of
different.
throws me off, and it bothers me. And maybe this is a gender thing. I don't know, Tiddly, if you get this as well, but I like to be a woman character in a game. It's just how I am. But I like what Void offers. But I can't be a female Void.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but that just really bothers me. Like I
No.
feel like I want to play Glitch
That's
just
valid, yeah.
because
Glitch
Glitch
is
is a
cute.
female.
Yeah, Glitch is
She's
cute.
adorable.
I agree. I loaded up as Glitch the first game I played, and then I swapped to Void, and I'm playing Void because Void's kit's more fun. But I agree. I think that part of it is just that there's such a limited number of heroes or characters to choose from right now. Like once there's a larger pool, then I think that I'm gonna feel more comfortable. I'm gonna pick a character that I like the aesthetics of, and also the like utility of. So like, you know, because
that's what I thought they were going for. That's what I
Right.
thought. You could pick your look, and then since they have that whole reviving thing
Yeah.
in the lore where you die, you revive or whatever with knowledge. I thought that you could pick a runner's kit, and then you could pick like, if I want to look like Glitch, but I want to have Void's kit, I could. But I didn't know I didn't realize they were going to lock those 2 things to be so specific.
Can I do one more point before we move on?
Sure.
And this is just a humorous note of my final critique. And this is just going out to Bungie because I know, like, I want them to make money and I want them to make things. They really need to work on making the booties of the characters more exciting. I feel like
they're
missing out. They're missing out on
Here.
so much money. Look at Marvel Rivals.
Oh,
look
yeah.
at Overwatch.
They're just
look at
hamming it up over there.
I mean, these
Double
characters,
cheeked up.
they're cool. They have no sex appeal. Who's going to cosplay them? We need better booties on these characters. Like, please take my feedback. You will sell so many more skins for these characters if they have nice booties.
Look, I'm just saying right now, all of the characters' booties are as flat as mine.
They are. They have gamer booties.
Yeah.
I do not want to log into a game and look at my booty. Okay, I want to log in and have aspirational. Put the ass in aspirational booties. Please. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
one thing.
My one wish.
I'm sorry. One thing.
Okay.
So, the game
I'm here
looks
for it.
beautiful. The art direction, the characters look so cool.
Highlighter chic, you could say.
Yeah.
It looks awesome. And the fact that they went through, I had read this somewhere, where one of the critiques was that they should tame down the art style because people aren't going to want to play it as much because it's too weird. And they stuck to it where it's like, no, this is what we want. And that's one of the things people talk about.
Yeah, that's one thing I like.
So much.
Yeah.
They love the aesthetics.
Yeah.
I feel like they should actually play off of that more. I feel like, especially in their marketing, especially in their characters, I know they're going to have more character design, but people want to live in the world and they want to see the world. They want to experience what it's like. And they got to bring the cat back. Let's be honest here.
There wasn't any cat in the game. You're right.
No cat. Yeah. Disappointing.
And when they
full
talked
release
about
on
it,
that. That's how they get your $40, guys. Guys, that's how they get your $40.
Have a pet.
Here's
That's
the
in
thing.
game.
People joke about this. I was even joking about this, but when they brought the cat in that teaser, half of the people who I talked to who weren't interested in the game were suddenly interested in the game because they were like, okay, this is something that's interesting, not just because, oh, there's a cat, but because it's more than just a multiplayer game.
Sure.
There's something where it's a world I want to live in. It looks cool.
It's
and
unique.
Oh my God, there's a cat.
It's unique. I think we're gonna find out more about that, but that's another piece. It's like right now everyone's comparing it to other games. They're comparing it to Tarkov, they're comparing it to Fortnite, they're comparing it to Apex, they're comparing it to Division. I think really we don't know yet because it's very new. It's in the alpha, but what is its unique personality? What makes it stand apart? And I can't put a finger on that. There's nothing wrong with being a game that comes into a genre and does it in a more slick and in a more fun and a better way. There's nothing wrong with that, but I expect more from Bungie. I want them to put out something that has its own unique identity. So I want to know what that is.
I
The
think
cat
in
is
the
part of
alpha,
that, Sammy. I really think so.
One
I think
thing is when they did the live stream and someone, or it was a comment after an interview, I think it was an interview, someone had asked, okay, where's the cat? And the developer who they were talking to was like, we were a little surprised that people took on the cat so much, like that it became such a big deal. And they just
Are
seemed
they?
shocked by this. And that's what's a little concerning is that Bungie has amazing ideas. They pulled out so much. They stuck to their guns and made it weird. And they made it fun. But I don't think they really realized the potential. And what concerns me is the fact that they don't realize that the cat is what brought people in. I don't think they really realize the extent of that. And I'm afraid they're going to have a lot of missed opportunities, which is going to turn
Playable
people
cat
away.
character
I don't-
incoming.
I don't know. Like, just judging, I get the vibe of the game from the alpha, but I'm not expecting to know everything about the game from the
I'm
alpha.
hoping that
You know what
they're
I mean?
keeping a
Like,
lot
yeah.
away, like the
absolutely.
beta
Yeah.
blows us away and stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait to pick it up again. It'll be fun.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the title of the show, Destiny Digest. We're gonna kind of what?
Sorry about that.
No.
Marathon's a hot topic right now.
I think
It's a hot
Marathon
topic.
was the big thing.
And rightfully so.
Yeah. Marathon was the big thing. I'd say like the second biggest thing is that on May 6th, so in a little over a week, we're going to find out a little bit more about what Destiny or what Bungie has in store for Destiny with the Edge of Fate. Still seemingly scheduled to happen sometime in the late summer. We'll find out more information about that soon. We've had not only have we had like the reveal of the Edge of Fate, but we also had a trailer for it pop in last week. What's everybody's thoughts on what they've seen?
I mean, I think it's cool. I love that people are already going into the trailer and by phrase.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the excitement of it though, 'cause it's basically showing us going beyond our solar system, right? So and that's when we watched it on stream, that's kind of the conversation that we had is like, how cool is this? You know, what is this going to look like? They're using actual astral bodies that exist for like in this trailer or whatever. I don't know. It's exciting. It'll be fun to watch the reveal on the 6th.
Yeah. I'm excited to see the 9 take a more prominent role in the DLC for the game. Like I've
been waiting 10 years for this.
Tammy's ready.
What do the 9 want to tell me?
Yeah.
It makes me like hopeful because I know I've been talking a while about like I need to know like where we're going. I need to know. So they're giving us a whole hour of just Destiny stuff. So it's going to be a good day, and I'm saying that in the sense of like, you know, finally we're going to know a launch date. We're going to probably know the raid date very soon after, and we finally get to know a whole bunch more about Apollo. Why Edge of Fate now? It's not Apollo anymore.
Yeah. It feels good to like have a lot of hype about Bungie stuff, like especially like right after another. I'm glad that they didn't say, "Oh guys, by the way," and then like throw this in as like as an afterthought thing. Like I thought.
See,
maybe
I thought they were gonna do it early. You know, when they
Yeah.
did the whole rumble, well, they said come early to the
Mhm.
marathon thing. I was like, are they gonna
Oh,
do
are
it
they gonna-
now?
Yeah.
And it was
I
the
thought they
rumble
would-
thing. I was like, okay, good.
I thought that it would just kind of be like a thing at the end, like when they were like, "Oh,
the
guys,
one
by
more
the way,
thing?
stick around. We got one more thing." I was like, "Okay, this is gonna be like the Destiny like trailer for whatever that is." And instead,
Yeah.
it was like the marathon cinematic, which looked cool as
So
fuck, by the
good.
way. So good. Done by one of the same teams that worked on Love, Death, and Robots. Which, if you haven't watched that, you should.
You did an Oscar-winning short too. It's good.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. But I'm
Awesome.
glad that it wasn't the one last thing.
Yeah.
It does give it more breathing room to like go and do their own thing with it, which I'm looking forward to. That will be on May 6th at 9 a.m. PT on Twitch and YouTube and all the good stuff. You'll probably have a pre-order at the end of that. So looking forward to that. A couple weeks back, we had some.
I just have a
news.
question.
Sure, go ahead.
Do any of you get it to where we have Rights of the Nine coming out, and then the expansion is called Edge of Fate,
Very
and we're
nine
so used to
focused.
calling the expansion Frontiers. So do any of you guys just feel like it's confusing or a headache when you're talking about it? And it's like, no, I'm talking about Frontiers, Rights of the Nine. And it's no, Sam, that's not it's Edge of Fate. Do any of you guys else or anyone else get that?
I've tried to
I
get
do-
their terminology right. I've tried to just stop saying Frontiers and Apollo and just say Edge of Fate. It's been
I'm
tough.
like Edge of Fate reveal, and I'm like, but on the 6th we get Edge of Fate, and it's like, no, we get Rights of the Nine.
Yeah,
I feel like they really gotta differentiate these things. Personal.
We're also just edging
issue.
so many
We're
things.
edging
in
so
I was
Destiny.
much
gonna
stuff.
Why are
say
we
there's been
edging
so many jokes.
everything?
There've been so
Yeah.
many jokes about it lately.
Yeah.
Edging's a play, I guess.
Yep.
It's sad because it's starting to get old, and I feel like that's a joke that should never get old.
Stay tuned for the next DLC that is coming after the Edge of Fate. Gooning on the Moon. Anyways,
Okay, Dan.
moving on. One of the things
Can I pre-order that right now?
I'm pretty sure you can find videos online.
Thanks.
Regarding those blocky weapons. So a few weeks ago, when Heresy launched, they accidentally launched some of the they accidentally launched Rights of the Nine. So people were able to get in, they were able to get weapons, but they didn't have like the full shader on them yet. They didn't have the full texture pack on them. So they were these very smooth weapons. As of the TWID on 4/17 on April 17th, he said, while we were able to patch out the activities quickly, the weapons remain. So a lot of people still have them in their vaults right now. We had intentions of updating these weapons at release, but hit a few snags along the way. While we initially noted rewards earned would be retained, they will need to be removed. So those smooth weapons will be coming out of your
gone.
vaults. Yeah, if you were able
Bye.
to hop into Rights of the Nine. Do any of you guys have those
I have
currently?
no blocky weapons, Dan.
No blocky weapons. Other Dan? No.
A lot
Sammy,
of
what about
my
you?
community
don't-
members do,
I don't have
but
any.
they're really sad they're getting pulled.
Yeah.
So why is it just like a hey, this is fun?
They just,
thing?
he's the one. They've been using it in all my raids and stuff,
Yeah.
and they're
I
like,
kinda like the
"Oh
look.
man!"
I kind of
Listen,
like the
if they
look.
don't bring it back in some way, like as an ornament,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're missing out.
That would be
Yeah.
so cool. They're like
talking
oh, yeah, this
about
is
bringing back the
blocky
cat, they need to make this a unfortunate silver or some bright whatever. I need that kind of
Mhm.
low polygon weapons. I don't need it all fancy.
weapon.
Yeah, so as a make good, they said that on May 6th, all players will be granted 1,500 currency. That is the same day that Rights of the Nine spawns into the game. They'll be getting 1,500 currency, which will be exchanged with the emissary for rewards. This should be the equivalent of about 2 dungeon runs worth of weapon drops. Spend them all on day 1 or hold them until you're good and ready. Does that feel like a good enough make good to you guys?
No,
I
just give
don't
everybody
like
the
that.
ornaments.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all
Yeah.
because it was getting in there. It was one of those FOMO things, but being rewarded for getting in there early, even though that was their mistake, and playing the content and getting the rewards, actually getting in there early should be what the experience should have been. I do
Mhm.
not feel like they should get rewarded because Bungie screwed up. Unless, and I'm one of those things where it's like, okay, you missed an opportunity, so be it.
Mhm.
Not for
But
this one.
not
This-
for this one because it's a weapon. It is a weapon. If you farmed for it and you knew it wasn't supposed to be out yet, it's your own fault for being in there. I don't feel like it's not that they should be in trouble.
Mhm.
You know, it's not that
No
they
punitive
should be
action.
reprimanded. But at the same time, I feel like they should not be rewarded on top of it because they got an experience that other people would have just enjoyed just for the experience, not the rewards.
Wait, are only the people that went in getting the currency, or is everyone getting the currency?
Everybody across the board.
Oh, I
is
thought it
getting
was just the people who had the weapons to
Okay.
make
No.
up for
Well,
it.
thanks
Everybody
for them
will
going
get-
inside then.
Yeah. Everybody will get 1,500 is what
Okay.
what it said there. So not just those
Well,
folks. Because those
That's
folks went in
much
early,
better.
everybody gets currency.
I still agree with Sammy with that, but I would change it to the contest because, like, I know we're getting a contest event for these
Mhm.
dungeons, and I personally am not a big fan of the experience has already been ruined.
Mhm.
Only partially because, like, since a lot of people have already done contests of some of these dungeons, you know, I was
Mhm.
really excited for all of us at the same time to go in, but kind of sucks that like some of the air has been pulled out of that. Like, I'm still gonna do
Mhm.
it. I'm still gonna do like the helps and whatever, but like,
Sure. Yeah.
really sucks
Yeah.
that like that experience has already been taken. Since, you know, obviously some people got kicked before they finished the
Mhm.
contest of like Spire the Watch or whatever, but like I was really excited about that.
Yeah. I'll say
I wonder if they're going to change anything about that because they
Do
did
they even
say
have enough
like
time to change it again though?
yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah, I have no
I don't know
idea.
if
Did
we
anyone
talked
get
about
the
this.
emblems though?
but
No.
I don't know.
That's what it's one thing I couldn't tell is whether or not people got the contest emblems.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Moving on, has anybody has anybody done GMs this week in order to get the new emblem from
Yes.
the break free
Yeah.
emblem
I
from
have not.
Sunless
Yeah.
Hell? Yeah.
But apparently it's going to be distributed at a later time
At a later
Mhm.
time, yeah.
because it didn't drop from completing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can get I think everybody who completes Sunless Strike Nightfall, any difficulty from April 22nd until April 29th. So as of this recording, you have a couple more days. We'll get the break free emblem from the Sunless Hell. From the 17th, the only other thing that I'm seeing of note is that they're breaking up some of the communications.
Mhm.
And Bungie Help is transitioning over to Bungie server status on all of the socials. So we will see a little bit more on that end, or more communication on server status on that end. From the article on the 24th, we have, I think the biggest thing here, so we had the Guardian's Gambit. So that's where there's been a bunch of chess pieces around the world. Has everybody gathered those chess pieces? I haven't
I've
played
not
Destiny
gathered all of them,
this week at
no.
all.
I have
So-
not.
Yeah.
No.
What is it all about? I haven't played Destiny in a while. Actually, no, I played it in a while. I was in Ghost of the Deep.
I think
I
there's
don't know
just a
what
bunch of
it's
chess
about.
pieces to collect throughout the entire
There's
world.
like 66 of them in the world. All these
Yeah.
chess
Oh, that's
pieces.
fun!
I've gotten
Why
some
are you
of
them,
collecting
but-
them?
People think there's gonna once you once the community does something, it's going to trigger something. I don't think that, but
oh my gosh, like all over the world, like on the destination planets too. Is that
I
where
think
it
they're
is?
all over the world because I
I
got some
can't
in this
wait.
Nightfalls.
Oh, that's so exciting. I'm gonna have to play Destiny a lot.
Cryo Phoenix in chat says there's a few destination planets. They do call this the latest Destiny 2 community puzzle.
Yeah.
In the
They
twin.
did also say
I'll be honest,
they
I
said
didn't read
don't
the
go
twin.
crazy. Some
Sorry.
devs said don't go crazy. This isn't going to trigger some big event. They did say that to calm our nerves about that. I did read that.
Yeah.
It is
I
a
think it
community
would
puzzle
be
for
cool. I was talking, I don't know if we talked about it. Probably not. I think it was my chat. How if Bungie just did random little surprises. Just random. Like we didn't get anything for it necessarily. But just something where people are like, "Oh my gosh, I noticed something's different." And then people would go in and they'd be really paranoid about it. And I was thinking this because I was in Ghost of the Deep in the first part, losing my mind. And I came across this little bit of geometry and I'm like, oh, they added chests. And it wasn't. It was just a little like ornamental piece of geometry. And I was just like, how cool would that be if they went in some of the older dungeons and they added something? Like they added a secret chest in there. People would want to run it. They'd want to see, because look how hyped up people got over Telesto, and that didn't really lead to anything when they just shot random, what was it, Telesto ammo up into the sky, Telesto beams.
I would love this. I would love this if the community puzzle was like, so many people have to collect 60 chess pieces in order to progress, and once they hit that cap, it unlocks a t-shirt from the Bungie store that says, I collected 60 chess pieces and all I got was this stupid shirt.
Would love that.
That would be hilarious.
That would be hilarious. And they're like, ha, suckers, we got you.
Now pay us
You know
40
what,
bucks.
People love that. They love the stupid little things like that. They love silly. I think that's what Destiny is missing. People love silly. And it's gotten so serious over the years. But when they bring back little things that are just silly, people go crazy for it.
Yeah, silly's good.
Witness is dead. It's a perfect time to have some fun and like lighthearted stuff, you know.
Yeah.
There's definitely no impending doom on the horizon.
No, definitely not anything impending.
And if it is, we're leaving the solar system anyway.
Yeah, we're like, we're out. Good
Goodbye,
luck,
suckers.
traveler.
Thanks for all the powers.
Yes.
We're out.
Thanks for all the fish. Goodbye.
Going to romance people in another solar system. What do you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
whose asses are bigger than mine. Moving on. So we have Heavy Metal and the Event Home. So on May 6th, Destiny 2 will receive update 8.2.6, which brings a small sandbox update, a new dungeon-focused activity called Rights of the Nine, and on May 9th, a new PvP game that goes by Heavy Metal. You already know what about all of that. That's where you're going to be able to take Briggs against tanks and tanks against Briggs, and you're going to be able to fight. So you already know all that, but Heavy Metal is such a fun, maybe even a bit crazy game mode that we felt like doing something extra. That's the reason we are launching a new event home along with it. Event homes are the new replacement for event cards. Think of them as your cozy one-stop shop for all things events. Rotating challenges every day? Check. A new rank reward track? Check. A page to quick launch into an event activity and visit Space Grandma? Check. Page for the event title with your favorite event triumphs? Check. Brand new reward shop. They should have kept it at 3. Brand new reward shop to fulfill your Chuck E. Cheese dreams of getting that top shelf prize. Checkity check, check, check. All for free. And they're going to break it down by saying it offers a set of daily challenges to rotate at reset every day. And then one weekly challenge that resets weekly. The first are bite-sized single objectives that you can be completed in a short playing session, while the weekly challenges are more of a midterm goal that require your attention for most of the duration of the event. Completing them will cover most of the experience required for the new event card or event rank track, and you still get experience when playing the event activities, but challenges grant the most amounts. Heavy Metal will also come with its own event rank track with 15 ranks available for all players. Each rank has its own reward, like a weapon or an emblem or an enhanced materials. And we believe that these rewards alone make this new system more rewarding than the previous event cards, even on the premium version. They say that the reward shop will have rewards like weapons and materials, and new item called reroll chip. The second type of currency can be used to reroll one of your daily challenges. And moving forward, event homes will replace the event card when a Destiny 2 seasonal event is live. So Solstice, Festival of the Lost, Dawning, Guardian Games, and other events. So what do you guys think of them adding a video game screen into a video game?
No more paid event cards.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, I know. It's
That's
nice
pretty
they're
much all
opening
I
it
saw
up.
on Reddit and was
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, cool.
Did anybody buy those event cards? Or like
I did. I did
okay.
when they had shaders because I'm a shader collector.
Oof.
Like
Okay.
Shaders.
I was sad I didn't buy them, but
I
was
don't-
like,
If it
don't
has
care.
a shader,
I'm sorry.
if it has a shader, I'm
Um,
buying it.
oof.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm like they can't sucker me in with like emotes or like, exotic
shader to
stuff.
you?
I'm like, no, but if there's a shader and it's cute, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it probably even if it isn't cute. Like I have to have all the shaders. Like what if I need that for a particular look?
Exactly.
Sammy knows,
You get it.
Yeah.
I've only ever
Strategy
bought
is the
one
end
like
game.
There is
that.
one shader. I don't know if you guys know how to get it. It is sparkly pink. It's
Oh, I
older.
probably have it. What
I
is it called?
probably
Now I
have
gotta
it.
boot up the game.
I only have a couple pink shaders. But
Is this the pink and white one?
it's older. I don't know the name of it.
That's the
I think it
Reverie
might have
one.
been a Festival of the Lost one. And I think that it had some gold to it.
Gold and pink.
Festival of
I don't
Lost,
know if it
Golden
was
Pink.
gold and
Oh,
pink.
you're talking about okay, I know what you're talking about. Hold on.
See, my big rant about shaders is like,
Mhm.
I need them to give me a search by name and color
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
because
Filter.
I don't ever make as many shader options available to me because it just takes so long to find it.
Mhm.
And I just luckily I have like 5 favorited and I just go with those like first ones on my page or whatever. I would love to have more shade. Like I have a lot of shades, but I would love to like change my stuff more often, especially off of recommendations. But
It's
trying
always
to
so hard to
go through and find
stuff.
them,
Yeah.
it's like, ugh.
Yeah, I completely agree.
If they want me to buy them more, Bungie, I know you listen to the podcast. Then hear me out.
I know they listened to us about the right of the 9.
There's been a few
They listen
things.
to us
There's been
about
a
a
few
lot of
things that they've.
stuff,
It
yeah.
seems like they've listened to us
I
about.
know you listen to us, so please.
Maybe we just have common sense. I don't know.
Maybe they have the same common
Please
sense
fix your
about
shader
stuff.
system because I want to give you more silver, but I can't because I buy your shader, then it's lost into the haystack.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to know something else that's really fun?
I would love
Is
to.
that favorites transfer over not only between I believe this is true. I think I ran into this like a couple months back. If you favorite too many shaders, you can't favorite anything else, like be that like an emote or other things.
Really?
I think that the favoriting system is like a token system that's all together.
It's
Yeah,
is
you
account
only have
wide, huh?
100 favorites.
Only 100 favorites.
Yeah.
I believe that's
Really?
true. If I'm wrong, then I will recant next week and I will wear bunny ears.
No,
entire
there is
episode.
a limit to the number of favorites you can have.
Okay.
Didn't I know?
I don't know if it's
Wow.
account wide, but there are because I only play Hunter. But
Is
there's
this the shader,
definitely
Sammy? I put it in chat.
Springtide Paint.
Nope.
Springtide Fate. Nope.
It's not that one. I have that one.
Okay.
Time to go digging again.
See, this is why I need to be able to search by color. You know?
Yeah.
You just search by color.
Other than that, like I don't know if I'm necessarily excited about heavy metal. I'm definitely going to try it when it comes out. The video game screens. I'll say what?
Wait, maybe I'm thinking of something different. Is heavy metal not tied to the Brig versus Drake thing as well?
No, like that's what it is. It's Brig versus Tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what heavy metal is. It's its
Okay.
own separate event outside of Rights of the Nine.
Magical transformation.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
There
a
you
new
go.
PvP mode. And that's coming out on
I
the
know
9th,
about the
so it's
mode, and I
coming
was
out,
excited
like,
for
a
that, but
little
I didn't know it was its
later.
own event. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah. I'm excited
Maybe I
just
misread
because
that
of
when I read it.
like Big Team Battle. Like I
Yeah.
hope I mean, that was so fun. I'm hoping that it's the Destiny version of Big Team Battle, and I'm gonna go in there and just like goof around. I hope it's fun and goofy. I hope people don't take it too
Yeah.
seriously.
I hope people like it enough to where they see the response and decide to make another something like it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I would love that.
How many? So of the folks here, I'm just going to ask a quick question. Are you Team Tank or Team Brig? Sammy, starting with you. Team Tank or Team Brig?
I'm going to say Brig because I can't drive a tank.
Okay, Dan, what about you?
Listen, that is a very valid response, Sammy. I'm going to go with Tank because I don't know if I'm going to be able to drive a Brig.
I'm not saying I can drive a Brig. I'm saying
I don't know how that Brig is going to operate.
I know I cannot drive
I know
a
I
tank.
can drive a tank probably better than I can at this moment. I don't know I don't know how I'm going to drive a Brig.
It's a Power Ranger thing.
So I'm just going to go with
you and
Tank
3 other
for now.
people.
The only exotic mission, fun fact, the only exotic mission that I refused to solo is, I forget which one it was exactly, but you had to drive the tank and it was timed.
Oh, yeah. You didn't have to drive
because
it.
I couldn't get through it. I died every
Wasn't that the
single time.
Savathun song one? Where the Drake
No, it
tanks
wasn't
at the end?
Cabal one.
It wasn't Presage. It
wasn't Presage. No, Vox Obscura.
Yeah, it was Vox Obscura.
Yes.
Yeah. Tiddly, what are you? Team Tank, Team Brig?
I am Team Brig for 2 reasons. One is we've never been able to drive them before.
Right.
This is a first, and that the novelty is titillating. And the second reason is I want to live out my Star Wars AT fantasies.
Oh,
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Like that's
fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm still undecided because I do like the tanks in this game. The tanks in this game.
Wait, who do you like better? No,
fun.
pick it based on the Destiny Digest host. You can only pick once, Dan.
It's tanks.
We'll never
it's
forget.
tanks. All right, it's tanks. It's tanks.
All right, guess we've chosen our teams now. All right, Dan, you and me, let's go.
Destiny Podcast 2v2. Is that what you're saying?
2v2. Oh wait, no, I'm Team Sammy. Let's go.
Yeah.
Boys are just girls. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
All right. And with that, I believe that was all the news that was fit to print. Yeah. Oh, they're putting out the Destiny soundtrack for the first time on vinyl. That feels like something that should have maybe happened like 7 years ago. There is a cool emblem for that.
I would buy that. I collect vinyls.
Yeah. That will be cool. Like, I wish that they'd done like a rare color vinyl with it.
Yeah.
Like, do like a special edition.
Yeah, they
of,
do like a
100.
special edition where it's like white or something. Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be cool. Or it looks like the Traveler. Like the bottom edge is like a picture disc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That would have been cool. That would have been super sick. Other than that, I think the only other thing that I wanted to note here is that our friends at Guardians Mental Health through the Bungie Foundation, just with the emblems alone, have raised, like, I'm looking at the number right here, and there are 17,351 emblems left out of the 25,000 that they initially pressed, quote unquote pressed
Nice. Yeah.
here. So that's like about $100,000, like almost
Awesome.
for that cause.
Yeah.
So huge round of applause to everybody at GMH. They
Yeah.
also did like a really fun,
Huge.
they also did a really fun Bungie bounty, which I was able to lurk in for a little bit there. That was pretty fun. If anybody does anybody have anything else that they would like to add before we move into audience questions?
No, chef.
That is nothing. All right. So the first question on the board, Black Zard, will Lord of Wolves still be cracked for Rights of the Nine, or will it be patched?
No way.
The coming Tuesday.
It's getting patched.
No way.
Nah.
You think so?
They said enjoy it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it. It might, but I don't see it staying after.
Yeah.
So get your solar flosses done now if you're, or whatever
what you're
challenges
for.
you're trying to get, yo. I would focus on those now.
Well, that's bummer news. I've been liking.
It's so fun.
No, I
It is
agree.
so
Dude.
fun. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised
Yeah.
if the patch comes out and they don't even announce it. It's fixed.
It's just gone. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
They're gonna take it away. It's okay. It's not supposed to be there in the first place.
Yeah.
It was still fun.
It is fun.
Lawrence said, I missed if this was answered, but when it comes to Marathon, for those in the alpha, what's one thing that you liked, one thing that you didn't like, and one thing you wish that they would add or change? I think we covered most of that in like the first hour and a half.
Listen to the
of this
beginning
podcast.
of the podcast. Yeah.
So you'll probably have a better time there, Lore. Love you, thank you. Cryo Phoenix. With Savathun now considered an enemy rather than a wild card, do we think she may step up to become the next greatest threat? Or will it be a different entity entirely? And why?
I would prefer a new entity.
Mm-hmm.
I would prefer somebody new.
Especially if we're going somewhere new.
Especially if we're going somewhere. If they want to have that if they want Savathun to be a constant looming threat in that new universe, cool, but I don't know. I just want new stuff. So
I'm going to equate it to this. When I was in kindergarten, and this is going to make total sense.
okay.
When I was in kindergarten, I was in this class of probably 20 kids, and one of them was named Amanda. Okay. And at the time I had a crush on this girl named Amanda, right? Just like a little kid crush. And then when I left kindergarten, I left that school and went to a different school. But I saw Amanda years later, probably when I was in second grade, at Pizza Hut, because we all had book it programs, right? And it was weird to see somebody that you once saw somewhere else in a different environment after you'd been removed for some time.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the crush on her when I was in second grade at that time. I was like, this is weird. Why is this person that I used to know here? So I don't know. I'd like to see new threats more so.
I think Savathun is one of the coolest, morally gray characters that Bungie has ever introduced in the entire game.
Great
and
VO.
I feel particularly drawn in the story to characters like her or characters like Callus, like characters that are kind of like ongoing threads. And I would say the more I can get of her, the better. So I think the voice actress is also phenomenal. So
Yeah.
holy heck, let me drink from the fire hose. I love
the
her.
Deborah Wilson hose.
I love her. That was one of the best DLCs that Bungie has ever put out centered around her. She's a great character. Give me more. I mean, I don't think that is exclusive to new bad guys, but she's great. She's great.
I could see them building her up as a threat later, maybe when we come back. Because if you leave, I'm assuming that there's going to be like a hero's journey back. You know what I mean? And I could see Savathun being that impetus for needing to return because of a threat that they would pose. But I don't, since it seems we're going to the far reaches of known space. I don't know. I just don't know. I want to see new stuff. I want to see really weird stuff. We've seen
If
what
we
they can
left
do
the
with
soul
Marathon.
and somehow Savathun came with us, you want that?
Just
Or we
stranded.
somehow leave the portal open just barely enough for Savathun to get through right before it closes.
She strands to our ship and just rides the entire way.
We're well skating through the portal
The
and
hitchhiker.
Savathun just grabs it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bungie listening,
Yeah.
like, write that down. Write that down.
Yeah. Lurk says, I don't think we'll truly leave. We'll open a portal to some other location. Yeah, I don't know. Like
We've talked about that though. We've all agreed that like whatever we're doing, because I asked this question a while ago, and most of y'all said more than likely we'll open up a portal that we can go to and then come back. Because one of y'all brought up the whole question of if we were to technically leave the solar system, never be able to come back, what would happen to the tower? What would happen to our vault? What would happen to like all of our what happened to all like the raids and the destinations here? So it makes more sense that we'll have some sort of connection where we just go back and forth. How? I don't know.
Yeah, because there would be a lot of. I could see Seth.
Seth would hate it.
I can hear the fumes coming off of Seth's head right now. If we were to lose everything that we had previously in Destiny 2, I could just see it. I could just see it right now. Yeah, I don't know. I want a new threat. I want to see some new things. Some wild things, if possible. Like
the final boss of the Apollo of Edge of Fate is just Tanix again.
It's 3 Tanixes. Like
you thought you lost me, but I'm back.
You thought you lost me. Outside of that, those are all the questions fit to print, folks. Why don't we tell the people listening and everywhere on the internet where they can find you on the internet, starting with Sammy. Sammy, where can people find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/SammyCat. I'm also SammyCat on YouTube, as well as Discord, and I'll get there. Blue Sky. My main social platform though is Twitter/X. Still where I am SammyCat Plays. I'm also SammyCat Plays on TikTok.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Epic Dan.
That's it.
You can find me on twitch.tv/EpicDan22. Currently still doing some marathon stuff, but I need to get back to my Destiny stuff. Start finishing up my loose ends before Lord of Wolves gets nerfed. And you can find me on YouTube at EpicDan22 and on the Blue Sky and TikTok at EpicDan22.
Tiddly, what about you, friend?
Sure. I stream live on Twitch Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock Central, twitch.tv/Tiddly. And I am on Blue Sky, also Tiddly on Blue Sky.
And I'm Dan Finity. You can find me just about everywhere on every platform. DanFinity GG, or you should just go to my website, danfinity.gg. That's just simpler, I think. Twitch.tv/DanFinity. I'm live 3 days a week. This week, I'll be doing Baldur's Gate 3 stuff with Tiddly and Rev. I'll be doing, I believe that I'm doing some marathon stuff with Time on Friday. Thursday, I don't know what I'm doing yet. And then Sundays are PvE helps in Destiny 2. So come through. Would love to hang out with you. With all that said, thank you so much for listening to episode 98 of the Destiny Digest podcast. We're 2 away from 100. And I hope you find what you're grinding for.